Hello everyone, welcome to 3ddesignacademy.com. In this lesson, we will continue with part 60 of the Lamborghini Aventador project. So in the previous lesson, we spent some time working on the fillet over here, and I think I'm going to continue with the fillet over here. Now this is going to be a little bit more difficult because first of all, there are two surfaces that we have to go across at this side, and also this point, this fillet comes to a point. So it's going to be a conical fillet, and also it needs a hard edge over here. So this might require a lot more work than regular fillets. So we'll see how it goes. Okay, so I'm going to start by laying out some curves. And actually, before I do that, let me just extend this one with merge off to see how the intersection is. Okay, so it's pretty close. Okay. So I would say that's good enough. So what I'm going to do is just duplicate this curve here. I'm going to snap it over here, and I'm just going to snap this one over here. Now I am going to make this a little bit like cone-shaped fillet, because if you see this, I think the fillet is starting somewhere over here. So let's push this in over here, and let's grab this side like this. And push it in over here like that. Okay, so I'm just going to project and compare the two. So I'm going to, well, first of all, let's project this from view like this, and I'm going to project these from Z, and I'm going to take a look how the fillet turns out. So I'm just going to do a little bit more cone shaped, bring this in a little bit like that. Now you want to keep the volume somewhat similar, so I probably need to push this out, because as you can see over here, yes, the distance from here to here and this here to here is similar, but if you actually measure from this way, sort of a normal direction, perpendicular to this line, you'll see that this is a lot, there's a lot less room. So it might not be a bad idea to push this out a little bit. We'll have to see. Okay, so for this one, let me just trim over here and trim over here and here. And let's go ahead, and I'm just going to test it out with a Freeform Length. So let's just do that, and I'm going to say default here, and both sides are going to be G2 like this. And I'm just going to take a look at the fillet itself. It's not bad, but you can definitely see that it's a little bit tighter over here. And also we are going to have a form factor. Okay, form factor doesn't work. It does need a little lead in, because the fillet over here also has a lot of lead in. So there we go. Overall, not too bad. What I'm going to do though is I'm going to try to fill this hole over here and see if the fillet is good. So I'm going to say 1, 2, 3, and 4 over here. And I'm going to hit this edge. Now for this one, what you want to do is we want to make sure that 1 is curvature, 3 is position, 4 is going to be position, and 2 also needs to be curvature. But I am going to take a look. Okay, so you'll see that it's actually dipping down a little bit. So in this case, what you want to do is you want to just either do a boundary blend over here, or do a little bit of manipulation here to make sure that that's working. That said, however, well, actually that doesn't look too bad. Now you'll see that there's a little bit of wobble here, but that will need to be fixed later. But I'm just trying to see if it's creating a somewhat of a decent highlight. And I honestly think that this doesn't look too bad. Now there is, well, actually, I guess not. Right. So I think the transition might be a little bit harsh. I'm wondering if I actually need to open this up a little bit. Let's take a look. I wish I could see an image that shows that section a little bit better. Now this should show this a little bit better, but I think it's not showing us the kind of highlight that we are in need of. Okay, so I'm gonna see if I can find a different image maybe that shows that area a little bit better than the ones we have. This one, no, that doesn't work. Maybe this one. Unfortunately, I don't think it does. Let me grab this image. No, that one doesn't either. Okay, so I might... Okay, let's try to find a few more images. And hopefully it'll show that area a little bit better than the images that we have right now. Okay, so I do think that it's actually quite tight. So I do believe that whatever we have right now is actually not a bad representation of the real car. Now there is a color line in the middle, so I think that sort of hides it a little bit better. But I think this doesn't look too bad. However, I am going to extend this a little bit more so that we have a little bit softer transition. So that is, I will be doing that, and let's have this image up. And I'm going to try and find maybe a couple more. Hopefully from a sort of a tip-off view that shows that area. Let's take a look at this one. Yeah, that doesn't really show me much. Okay. Let's to see if this set of pictures has it. Yeah, I definitely do think that its transition is a little bit, honestly, I don't think that that's too bad. Let me just point it this way. Okay. Going to see if I can spot a few more. Okay, I think, all right, so I think these are the best references that I have so far. So if that's the case, I think I'm just going to go ahead and just use those. Okay. All right. However, I am going to make this, I'm going to expand this a little bit so that the fillet is has a little bit more room to transition. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. Now it is done in a surface. Well, right now it's a freeform blend, but as you can see, the CV structures are not lined up. So I'm going to work on that first. Actually, let's untrim this one, untrim these ones over here, and let's take a look. Okay, I think though, yeah, having this area a little bit bigger should help with the transition. So let's go ahead and trim them again, and let's not. Well, actually, I am going to do a freeform blend, but I'm going to use a form factor. Let's go ahead. Oh, okay, so that doesn't work. Default, nope, that doesn't work. So let's try this side, see if that does it. Unfortunately, looks like it won't. Okay, so if that's the case, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do a bi-rail. It's going to be 1 here and 2 here and 3 over here. That all needs to be reset. I'm going to be doing a curve segment over here, and rail 1 is going to be curvature, rail 2 is going to be curvature. Just going to re-snap all the surfaces over here like this. And now let's go ahead and do a bi-rail again. It's going to be, well, before I do that though, I just want to make sure that this is balanced, which it looks like it's not. So let's go ahead. Oh, okay. So why is this failing position? So let's take a look. Oh, that's not good. Okay, so as you can see over here, it looks like there's a little bit of deviation. So what I need to do is make sure that this is positional. So let's go ahead and delete this one first. This one is okay. I wonder if having this, let's just check the positional continuity. Now it is position, but it looks like there's a little deviation that's causing that, which is actually quite unfortunate. So let's, okay. So here's what I'm going to do. I might have to change the CV structure on this one. We'll see. So I'm going to align this piece over here like that. I'm going to say partial. Now, as you can see, positioning influence does require maximum. Let's see if this does it. So I'm going to just set it at positioning influence to 0 to keep the CV structure as is. However, I am going to check the distance. Okay. So it looks like it's 0.00. Oh, that's perfect. All right, so I'm going to turn blending on and I'm going to just transition into the bottom. It's probably not necessary, but just for this, I think it might not be a bad idea. Okay, so we were able to retain curvature, so that's good. I'm going to trim this area over here, and I'm going to go ahead and use the stretch tool to snap this one back here. Okay, so that's good, and I'm going to just trim this piece over here like this. And let's go ahead and do a bi-rail. It's going to be 1 and 2. Like this. And I'm going to just make sure that the CV structure here is good. Probably leaning a little bit this way might not be the bad idea. Okay. So I would say, I don't think I'm going to do it too much. Okay, so I think that's good. And I'm going to just turn explicit control. It's going to be 5 and 5. To make sure that it is curvature. That doesn't look too bad, although it is failing curvature over here, so I'm going to have to find out what's going on. Probably just turn rebuild off. And now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to, well, let's do this. Okay, so the transition doesn't look too bad. However, I do want to align, well, let's try bi-rail first. So it's going to be 1 and 2 over here, and using curve segments, I'm going to push it a little bit like that. Oh, this probably does require a rebuild. So I'm going to just do something like that. So as you can see over here, there's a little discrepancy, which is fine. However, I just want to make sure that this one is going to be okay. So I'm going to hit the 4th edge right here. Overall, not too bad. Yes, there's a little bit of flick here, but I think this is overall manageable. Okay, so that's okay. So let's go ahead and do a little bit cleanup on this surface over here. So overall, I don't think the transition is that too bad. It's nice and soft, so I think it's pretty close over here. And if you're worried about a little bit of this, little bit harsh transition compared to this side, I think having a door cut line right there is going to help that sort of distract it from the rest. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, first of all, let's go ahead and I'm going to actually angle this a little bit more so that this has more room to be open. So I'm just going to do that, and I'm just going to do the same thing over here. And let's just check the CV structure a little bit. Okay, so as you can see over here, the CV structure is a little bit off, so I'm going to spend some time cleaning this. So what I can do is, well, let's actually delete these over here, and I don't mind the shape, so I'm going to just hit the curves over here like this, center pivot, like that, and I'm just going to project over here. It's going to be from Z, and I'm going to do the same thing over here, and I'm going to be using that. Actually, let's do this. I'm going to duplicate the curve here, and I'm using that to align. Let me just delete that. I'm going to align this piece, rebuild curve. It's going to be G2, and I'm going to do the same thing, rebuild curve, G2, like that. Okay, so let's take a look. Oh, I wonder if this... Okay, I think I might be better off doing view. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that again. Actually, you know what? I'm going to do something. I think I'm just going to use a blend curve. Okay, so I'm just going to use a blend curve over here because blend curve allows you to align, balance the CV structure a little bit better. So I'm just going to put it over here like this. Oh, that's not good. Okay, so I do need a little bit of acceleration on this one. However, it's leaning way too much over there. So I'm just going to pull this one over here and I'm going to push this like that. Okay, and let's take a look and see if that works. Okay, so right now I should not have projected from Z. I'm just going to project it from view. Okay, so let's go ahead and redo that. I'm going to just snap right here like this. And I'm going to delete the curved surface that's on both sides. I'm going to center pivot, scale up, and let's go ahead and project over here and here. Okay, so that's good. And I'm going to do the blend. Oh, well, actually, you know what? Let's just duplicate this. I'm going to align this curve onto this side, and I'm going to align this curve onto this side. Okay, and I am going to turn auto scale G2 on both sides. So that's a little bit easier to manipulate. It is lined up. Okay, I'm going to change. I think I'm going to change the angle a little bit more to this side. So I'm going to say view. Same thing. Let's change the view. And let's see if, oh, and go to, okay, so for instances like this, what you want to do is you just want to do, you want to rebuild or revert and align again. So I'm going to say curved surface over here and align to curved surface over here. Okay, so I think that's a little bit better. Okay, so now that's done. Let's go ahead and I'm going to hide this for a second. Okay, so I think the CV structure doesn't look too bad. And let's go ahead and do a square over here. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, and 4. Like this. And there's going to need to be a bi-rail. So it's a 1 and 2, like this. I'm just going to snap this back. Okay, so this basically gives you an idea of where things are. And now I'm just going to block the last surface over here like this. Now this is set to curvature, but I'm going to just make sure all the CV structures are good. So 1 is going to be curvature, but 2 I'm going to leave it as free for now. So this basically gives you an idea of how this CV structures are supposed to be aligned. So right now you'll see that it's very, there's a little break. And why is it not? Oh, 3 needs to be curvature. There we go. Okay, so there is a little break. And there's a break in the CV structure as well. So what you want to do is, if possible, you want all of these CV structures to be as aligned as much as you can. So what I'm going to do is, oh, I don't want that. I'm going to just push this a little bit like that. And this one a little bit like that. Okay. That I think I might need to have a little bit more control over here. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to, this is not giving me the result that I want with the curves alone. First of all, let's just do that. So I think what I need to do is, instead of pushing this around, I think I need to have another curve here to set this up. Okay, so in order to do that, first of all, let me just sort of get in the view right here, and I'm going to actually delete these. Let's just duplicate this side. Just going to do that, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to extend this side, merge with merge off, extend. And I'm just going to strike a curve from here to here. Center pivot. I'm going to project this side. And I'm going to project this side. Like that. And let's align this curve over here. Curve and surface. Auto scale G2's on. Do the same thing. Notice how I extended this surface because we don't have room here. So you just want to extend that with merge off so that you have actually a surface to line this up to. So now let's go ahead and do a square. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, and 4. And lastly, 1, 2, 3, and 4 over here. This one I'm just going to leave everything as position except for side 1, which needs to be curvature. Okay, so now let's do this again. So let's push and pull until the CV structure is a little bit more even. So this side, okay, there we go. Not align. I'm going to, oh, let's go ahead and grab the curve. So I'm just going to push this on a little bit and push this out. And on this one, I'm going to push this like that and push it this way so that all the CV structures are a little bit more even. Same thing over here. I'm going to go back here, do that, push it out like this. Okay, so that looks a little bit better. I might just do that a little bit. And I'm going to push this one. Okay, so in this case, I think I'm going to now just, first of all, delete the construction history. I want to delete the construction history because sometimes align. When you have auto scale G2 on, it'll do something. Sometimes it does funky things. So you just want to make sure that it's off over here. And I'm going to do the same thing here. And let's see if I can do the same thing here. So I'm just going to delete the construction history here. And I'm going to realign with auto scale G2 off. And let's just try to line them up to the best of our abilities. Okay, so I think that looks good. I mean, it's not going to be perfect, but you just want to make sure that it is as close as possible. So let's just do that a little bit. And I think I'm going to do a little bit more manipulation here. Okay, so I think that's pretty close. Let's just check the highlight. Okay, so right now you'll see that this is way off, but we do need to align this one. However, this one on the top, there used to be a very big kink. You'll notice that it's almost gone. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to try and see if I can align this a little bit better. Now, this is where things get a little bit interesting. So this is the primary surface. So this should be the primary, and I should actually be aligning this surface to this one. But the problem is this also takes up a lot more, lot bigger area than this one. So in this case, I would probably say aligning this one to this one is better than vice versa. So let's go ahead and see if that's going to give us the result that we want. Now we do need to align it. So I am going to turn surface continuity tool on, show max label, show comb will be on. I'm just going to check the continuity deviation over here. So it looks like the max angle is only 0.23, which is actually pretty close. So let's go ahead and see if I can line this up. So I'm just going to align this one over here. It's going to be G2. Okay, so that looks pretty good. But because of the CV structure here, I am going to turn vector on. And it looks like curvature deviation needs a little bit of work. Okay, so far not bad. And let's go ahead and see if the continuity here is still good. Yes, it is. So I'm just going to delete the construction history and let's try to get the curvature lined up nicely. So in order to do that, I'm just going to grab transform CV here. It's going to NUV, and I'm just going to grab 5000 for mouse sensitivity. I'm just going to push and pull until I can get curvature continue there. Oh, there we go. That was pretty quick. And now we have to line this up. Now, in order to do that, what you can do is, one of the things that you can do is just to grab, make sure that this is curvature and try to manipulate these CVs over here. But my preferred way of doing this is, well, oh, that needs to stay curvature. This is going to be free. I like to use align. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to align this piece over here to this one. It's going to be G2. I'm going to say vector. And now with the align tool, you have the option of blending. So I'm going to turn blending on. It's going to be 2. And depending on how the transition is, I'm going to either do a 0 or 1 or something in between. I think I'm going to do a little bit less. Maybe 0.8 is good. Well, I don't think it makes too much of a difference. Okay, I think I'm just going to keep it 1 for this. Now, the curvature, there is a little bit of curvature deviation here, but let's just check the highlight. Okay, so this did ruin the continuity over here, so I do need to make sure that that's aligned. So let's go ahead and I'm going to say G2. I'm going to realign it to this surface. It's going to be partial and blending will be turned off. Okay, and this surface is, I think I should just hide it for now. Okay, so the only problem is right now, I did align this one. It looks like it's a little bit off. So let's go ahead and take a look at what we need to do. So it is curvature here, it's tangent here. So let's try to get tangency in. So let's grab this surface over here. Let's try to make sure that's tangent. I'm going to say vector is on. Okay, so at least we got tangent. And now let's see if we can get curvature. So looks like curvature is actually kind of all over the place. Okay, so I am going to set curvature to here, positioning influence to max, and I'm going to see if I can just set the tangency here and see if that works. Okay, so we got tangency here, but tangency failed here, so I think I need to manipulate this a little bit more. So I'm first of all delete the construction history, and I'm going to see if curvature. Okay, so this is going to be a little bit difficult. Okay, first of all, let me just try to get tangency corrected on this area. Okay, so we got tangency there, but we got curvature issue here. So at least it's one direction. So let's see if I can get this corrected too. So I'm pulling these two CVs, which are closest to the cone where the peak is. Peak, I guess, peak where the alignment is off. And you want to touch these, you want to manipulate these two because this is a position line, this is a tangent line, and this is the curvature line. So you want to make sure to use a pull and pull the curvature line, NUV. And I think I should be able to get it. Okay, so it's starting to deviate a little bit. So what I'm going to do is, well, I think I can just do that. And you'll see that there's a little bit of curvature deviation here. So I'm going to just pick this one up. And I'm going to push it down until I don't, this comb here, it disappears. Okay, so we also have a little bit of issue here, but this one, I think should be pretty easy to fix. You see the comb going up here, so that also needs to be adjusted. But okay, so if you see this right here, you'll see that the comb is starting to go up here. So you want to stop and see if you can manipulate any other CVs to make sure that that doesn't happen. Okay, so it looks like it's trying to break tangency, which you don't want. And I actually I think I might have to grab other CVs in order to make sure curvature is good. Okay, so if this is the case, now one of the reasons why this is happening is because this is actually comes to a point. It's not a natural flow of the fillet right here. And because the natural of the fillet is right in this direction and it turns, sometimes this causes a little bit of deviation in it causes a little problem trying to get this curvature corrected. So I'm going to try and see if adjusting the position row is going to help. Now you just want to make sure that you don't go too much, because if you do, that's going to fail your curvature or position, I mean. Okay, so I'm just going to see if this helps. Nope. I think that might be it. I'm going to see if I can adjust on this side and see if I can still get the desired result. Now, I probably want to keep it local. Okay, so that's good. We're getting close. Okay, maybe I'll just touch this one. No, that doesn't work. So let's try this one over here. So close. Okay, so it looks like that's starting to break tangency. So I'm just going to, oh, there we go. Okay, it's barely, but we got curvature on all sides, and our highlight looks, it's not too bad, it's great. I think, okay, so I think the problem might be that this CV structure, I can probably push this on a little bit more. Yeah, I think I might want to do that. Okay, so I think I'm going to revisit this area because I don't like how the highlight transitions over here. So I might either make it a little bit smaller or revisit this area in order to make a little bit more improvement for this. Okay, that's all. However, I think, yeah, I'm going to have to try this a little bit more and get a little bit smoother transition here. But this is going to be for the next video. Okay, so that's it for part 60. We will pick this up in the next one, and thank you guys for watching.